Captain Mikko Koivu in the Minnesota Wild getting set to battle the Edmonton Oilers again, the fourth meeting already this young season.
You see a lot of this team, granted, but to have it in such a short span of time, it means there's going to be some, well, maybe a little bit of nastiness, a little bit more physical play. That's actually good. Helps create the rivalry.
Minnesota Wild come in with 14 wins on the season. That's tied for the most in the National Hockey League. They'd love to go home and end the month of November with 15 wins already on the season. Koivu wins the draw. Lundin will chase it back into the Minnesota zone. Wild in white, the Oilers in blue. Koivu chasing. Beasley just taps it through. Koivu down the wing. Clutterbuck going to the goal. Wrist shot goes through in front of the starting goaltender, Nikolai Khabibulin. All the way back to the other end. Played around to Schultz. Schultz along the boards to Koivu. Off the wall and bouncing all the way down. Beatley in a foot chase here, and Gilbert will get back first, and Tom Gilbert will touch it with backshot coming traps out there. To hook up with Daryl. Soft win for the Wild. Pushed ahead too far by Nick Johnson, trying to hook up with Daryl Powell. They wave off the icing. Back to pick it up is Petrie. Leaves it to the middle of the ice. Nugent Hopkins feathers one ahead to Ryan Smith, and then Nugent Hopkins got in early, and it's a whistle
for the reach.
Side call at the Minnesota blue line.
Talk about the Backstrom domination of the Edmonton Oilers. And, he just loves this building. Told Wes Walz that he likes the sight lines in here, and whatever the reason, whether it's the way the Oilers play, whether it's the fact that Backstrom likes his building, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is he does have some very good numbers against the Oilers, especially in this building.
Backstrom played it towards Scandella. Collision along the wall. Cullen fighting a roller. Got it ahead to Setaguchi across the line. Through Peckham. Spurgeon stepping up into the offense. Lays one back behind in the corner. Bouchard can't get control. Everly along the wing. Leaves it there. Poke checked away. And it came out across the line, and it caught Pierre-Marc Bouchard. He lays one back behind in the corner. Bouchard can't get control. Everly along the wing. Leaves it there. Poke the ice. Nugent Hopkins. Feathers one ahead to Ryan Smith. He scores!
1 minute and 2 seconds in, and it's 1-0 Oilers.
Side ball at the Minnesota blue line.
Talk about the Backstrom domination of the Edmonton Oilers. He just loves this building. Told Wes Walz that he likes the sight lines in here. Whatever the reason, whether it's the way the Oilers play, whether it's the fact that Backstrom close to the Oilers. So this shot there of Tom Rainey, the head coach of the Oilers. He's done a fantastic job with this young hockey team.
It's quite a challenge. You know, there's a lot of talent here. It's very young talent, but he has done an outstanding job. There's a quick shot out of a scrum in front, and quickly Khabibulin covers up. Daryl Powell was there. Nick Johnson was right in the fray. Powell might have gotten chopped up front a little bit.
Well, Pierre-Marc Bouchard, as we continue to chat about him, has been very good against the Oilers. Look at that. In numbers against Edmonton, and he's in pretty good company there.
Good hockey players.
Yeah.
Payarvi will dash to center. Floats one in rink wide. Stoner reaches out and pokes it free before it can be handled along the boards. Belanger is out there behind, and it's cleared ahead to Nick Johnson on the go.
No surprise there that most of those guys are divisional opponents because they have the benefit of playing against them a lot.
Zanin to Stoner and deep into the Edmonton zone. Edmonton 7-3-1 at home. The Wild come in 5-3-2 on the road so far this season. Across the ice.
Here they go, and we felt that was going to happen, and it happens the first time these guys get out there together, and they just want to take care of business early.
Let's get it done so we can finish the game. Oh, boy, they're throwing them.
Well, you know what? There was a build-up to this because of what happened a couple games ago, and so now these guys are going to take care of this so they can play some hockey.
Yeah, let them go for a while until they're getting tired.
Yeah, that's how it works. Going to answer the bell, and two mustachioed men going after it, and good bout there. Good bout there by both of those gentlemen. And you can tell that That was going to transpire at the minute that Hordichuk and Stabitz circled around, and here's how it started. They got together and they just started throwing some bombs, each of them landing a couple. And so now it's all done. The last time these two teams met in Minnesota, well, actually, if you're counting the penalties, I think the Oilers got the benefit. Hordichuk certainly, because Stabitz, and you see Hordichuk going down at times and drawing penalties. Stabitz got 8 minutes in penalties, double minors. And so obviously the Wild talked a lot about discipline and when to pick your spots. And that spot right there was a good time to pick.
Brad Stabitz admitted, he said it was selfish. I should have let it go. And you know, you knew he was going to, if he was going to go tonight, they were both going to go. And they did. They each get 5 for fighting. So we're even up. And there's one thing off the bucket list taken care of for tonight. Brodziak climbing over the boards. Dashing in on the backhand is Hemsky. He draws a penalty, and as the Wild touch the puck, play is stopped in the Minnesota zone.
Bit of a hold, and I think it's Lundin who's going off, I believe, as he was trying to keep track a little bit of Hemsky. Got a lot of speed, and watch as they move the puck right up in stride, and I don't know. It's the grab right on the hip, but he really didn't get a lot of them. Not enough of them, apparently. You take the hand off the stick, and that's immediately what the referees look for. Then they look for that free hand and see what it's doing. Is it grabbing a jersey? Is it grabbing a hip? And even though Lundin only got a small piece of it, he still wrapped his hand around.
You don't want to be putting these Oilers on the power play too much tonight. They have become very good at it with some of these skilled players. Gilbert's drive is on the money, and it's stopped by Backstrom. No rebound off the Wild netminder.
And once again, Backstrom, and we're going to keep an eye on this all night long for you, but Backstrom at the top of the paint again. And so he is finding his ice. It's one thing Bob Mason, their goaltending coach, talks about a lot. He says, take your ice. And what he means is get out there far enough so that you can't be pushed into.
Gilbert's drive is on the money, and it's stopped by Backstrom. No rebound off the Wild netminder.
And once again, Backstrom, and we're going to keep an eye on this all night long for you, but Backstrom at the top of the paint again. And so he is finding his ice. It's one thing Bob Mason, their goaltending coach, talks about a lot. He says, take your ice. And what he means is get out there far enough so that you can't be pushed into your net. You need his ice. It's one thing Bob Mason, their goaltending coach, talks about a lot. He says, take your ice. And what he means is get out there far enough so that you can't be pushed into your net. You need to take your angle whenever. I think it's imperative. It really is. I mean, if you don't get out there soon enough, then he'll take your ice, and therefore you can't get out and cut down that angle.
Come the Oilers back. A little poke check. Grabbed up by Sean Horkoff. Leaves it along the right wing. Boards at the hash mark. Eberle drops it inside. There's another quick shot. This time by Nugent Hopkins. It's, again, into the body of Nicholas Backstrom, and he does not give up a rebound.
A lot of work there in front by Ryan Smith, who's back to his old tricks. He's a competitor, and he certainly likes to get to the front of the net. We're going to watch this as Smith gets to the front of the net, and Zanin sees him. And that, look at him just boxing him out. Look at Zanin doing a good job of keeping him away from Backstrom. And Backstrom, again, just concentrating on the puck. That's what the defense need to do, is box out and create lanes so that Nicholas Backstrom.
Jared Spurgeon cleared it down in a big hurry, and here come the Oilers back again. Under a minute to go on the power play. They come 3 across the blue line. Clearing attempt. Hit Gagne. Now Spurgeon. Spurgeon flips one up, bounces towards the corner. Jones is in there battling, but the loose puck is picked up again by Jared Spurgeon, and he finishes it off and clears it all the way back down. Javi Bulin tees it up at the other end. In across the line is Gagne. They'll work it back to the right point. Gagne goes to the corner. Jones is battling in front. Gagne trying to get it to Jones. Intercepted by Greg Zanin. Turning and clearing off of Belanger was Brodziak. Brodziak used to be an Oiler. Belanger used to be a Wild Wings center. Loose puck. Howe couldn't come away with it. Back to the point. Belanger rotates right. Controlled. Stopped. In the skates of Brodziak, and it was kept in. Now continued and cleared the rest of the way down.
I'm surprised Whitney tried to force that pass across, and Stabitz Brodziak clearly took that lane away, and he should have gone back down low with it.
Penalty time has expired. The power play is done. The combatants, Staubitz is still in the boxers. Eberle, that's a blocked shot by Jared Spurgeon. Eberle gets it back again. Dumps it in front. Quick shot. Another nice save. Schmid with the rebound and a stop by Backstrom. He seems to be seeing the puck very well early in this game. Nugent Hopkins sends it down low. Centered out front for Eberle. He did knock it down and control it, but couldn't get a shot off. Now the puck is cleared ahead just across the blue line. Still controlled. Now back to Schmid. They'll work it ahead on the right side. Gilbert.
Early momentum by Edmonton generated from that power play. Even though it didn't get a lot of shots, they moved the puck in the offensive zone and got a feel for it.
Schultz going back. Horkoff chasing him. Drops it off for Mike Lundin. He'll bank it ahead out of the corner. Cleared to center. Reaching for it is Danny Heatley. Across the line. Heatley in the slot. A one-time shot goes wide off the glass.
Why not give it to Clutterbuck? He's put a lot of pucks in the net lately.
Koivu battling along the boards. Clutterbuck comes in. Koivu sends it across to the far side. Big Andy Sutton picks it up. Sutton played for the Wild for parts of the 2000 and 2001 seasons. Came over here from Anaheim in a trade for Curtis Foster. Might be one of the larger trades in the NHL. Sutton comes in at 6'6", 245 pounds. Gillies across through the skates of Setaguchi, who's backpedaling now and heading to the bench for a change on the fly. Poke to the line, sitting on the blue line, scooped up, and here comes Colton Gillies. A healthy scratch Monday against Tampa Bay. He's back in the lineup for the Wild. No score, 7 minutes in. He's back in the lineup for the Wild. No score, 1-0 Oilers.
Scoreless game here at Edmonton after an action-packed 7 minutes at Rexall Place. I'm Robbie and Smikowski. Good news for a lot of the Minnesota Wild prospects in their minor league system, as invites have gone out for the World Junior Championship, and a lot of Wild prospects are on that list, including Brett Boehmer, who played 9 games for the Wild earlier this season. Zach Phillips could represent Canada. Jason Zucker, who's already played twice representing the United States. Charlie Coyle came in the Brent Burns trade. Jonas Brodin, of course, the Wild top pick this year. And Larson, Gustafsson, and a name, Michael Granlund, that might sound familiar. He was a first-round pick a couple seasons ago. Dan and Mike, and the interesting thing is the tournament takes place here in Edmonton as well as in Calgary, and it starts the day after Christmas. So some interesting stuff going on with the guys in the farm system for the Minnesota Wild. Let's hope a lot of them get that big-time exposure.
I know the Wild make a western swing here through Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton right before that time. So it's going to be a lot of buzz in the hockey world up here for sure during that time. A lot of fun.
Puck finds its way through the neutral zone, back into the Edmonton zone. Bouchard coming in. Sutton has it, does a little spin move. Eberle leads it out to center. It'll be picked off by Spurgeon. Didn't get much of that puck, but did clear it ahead. Now dump back ahead. Here comes Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Cullen trailing. Gives it to Cullen. Cullen stops. Tried a little drag move. Came free. Now to the point. Stoner tried to fire that one towards either Bouchard or Cullen. I'm not sure which one, but it missed the mark. Now Cullen turns, looks, fires, and a save by Khabibulin. Eberle trying to get away from Setaguchi along the boards. He does, carries into the Minnesota zone and sends it bouncing back behind Nick Backstrom. Stoner plays it off on the left side. Zanin to the line, they're offside. To Whitney. Through Belanger controls that draw, pulls it back on defense to Whitney. Through center, Payarvi, the speedy Swede, fires one on, stick save. Backstrom dives out to cover up as it slipped away from him just a little bit.
That's one thing you're going to likely see a lot of by the Oilers, or at least that's what Tom Rennie has asked them to do, is get pucks to the net. That was not a very dangerous shot, but they're just looking for bodies and pucks to the net to create chances. And you saw the last couple of Wild chances. They didn't really shoot the puck at the net. They kind of shot it towards some of their forecheckers to see if they would deflect it. Goaltenders are so good these days that you don't have a high confidence to score from beyond the top.
For a lot of Minnesota Wild prospects in their minor league.
I know
He has it, does a little spin move, comes to the line, but there's for a souvenir.
Shot off legs or from beyond the tops of the circles. So a lot of times it's It's a shot off legs or a deflection by someone off to the side of the net.
Lundin to Schultz. Claw
Top of the show, close
up, and if you lose a couple, you
by a lot of original standings. And off the top, beyond the top, some
into his
so good. They did a lot of play
fast.
Oh yeah, like a stone. It's amazing how close some teams are. And we showed you the divisional standings off the top of the show, and Vancouver's right on the heels of the Wild, and Edmonton is right on the heels of Vancouver. So things transpire quickly here.
Schmid makes his way to the center red line, lofts one in. Nick Schultz ahead off the board. Schmid has Clutterbuck tied up. Hemsky will keep it in. Off a deflection. It'll go bouncing back into the corner. Mike Lundin has it there. Pops one up high in the air. It'll come down out of the neutral zone. It's kicked ahead into the zone. Clutterbuck will chase. Schmid has it. Schmid picks the right direction. He goes right. Clutterbuck went left. Here's Horcoff leading him up through the center. Hemsky played it off his skate. Fires a soft wrist shot in on goal. And
for the first to have that their night in that Lundin fan and playing time ever in a Wild sweater.
Each blocked 5 shots in the game, so they jumped right into the program.
And one thing that was happening in that first hour, we have a lot more.
It's Spurgeon off the boards all the way down, bouncing and hopping its way into the Edmonton zone, and we'll get an icing call. Header on the state team until Sunday. They have done very well in the face-off circle here in the first period, but it's controlled in the offensive zone. Hemsky looking for space. Slides it back down low. Everly has it there. Everly lost it, but goes right back, picks it up. Now Big Andy Sutton out of the corner. Fires across. An easy tap-in goal for Nugent. Game back first period, but it's controlled in the offensive zone. Hemsky looking for space. Slides it back down low. Everly has it there. Everly lost it, but goes right back, picks it up. Now Big Andy Sutton out of the corner. Fires it. Everly lost it, but goes right back, picks it up. Now Big Andy Sutton out of the corner. He has it there. Everly lost it, but goes right back, picks it up. Now Big Andy Sutton out of the corner.
Can watch everybody. The guy who you
top scorer of the league, Whitney, sends it moving in. Fight dumps it out, sinks back up
quite a bit. Wild trying to outlet pass quite a bit here. It's not
there, so it will be another ice. Bull dumps it out to center, and reaching for it was Powell, but he didn't get there, so it will be another icing against the Wild.
Wild trying
on the goal. It's 1-0. Brodziak comes in. Sutton and Eberle get the assists on the goal. It's 1-0. Brodziak comes in.
Waste, and yeah,
He'll be back. Brodziak, the former Oiler, will dispute it, but he'll still go to the box. We'll be back.
You're watching Fox Sports.
Tim reach in with the stick here. Reach across the waist, and yeah, that's a penalty. And Kyle Brodziak was vehemently denying that he did anything wrong. But that's about as legitimate of a tripping penalty as I think I've seen. So a little bit of frustration there, maybe.
Second power play of the game already for the Oilers. They come in 4th best power play in the National Hockey League. Gilbert has it on top. He'll saucer one across to the right side. Quickly down low in the corner. Guess who's in front? Yep, Ryan Smith, covered up by Backstrom. And Lundin was trying to cut off Smith.
Anyway, he was not taking any ice away from Backstrom, but he was on the back door. And watch Ryan Smith. What he was hoping for is the puck got right through Backstrom as he right on the back door. He's looking to tap one in.
It's not the back
thing is of a free there.
He had one of those goals against the Wild on the 25th of this month, just a few games ago. And he's been good against the Wild. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points in the 3 games, the first 3 games of this 6-game series. Gilbert slides in down low to the right side. Sends it back on top. Switches spots there with Nugent Hopkins. Powell watching down low, shoved in front. Cullen is there, quickly turns and dispatches that puck the length of the ice. Same thing. Ryan Smith was right on the back door, standing in the crease behind Backstrom. Belanger to center. Lost it for a moment, got it back. Big hit along the boards, and the puck is cleared back out to center ice. That was Clayton Stoner delivering.
Yeah, and you know what? When you watch your pass, and you watch it when Clayton Stoner's around, he's going to take you out.
Belanger got a touch. Jones comes in to help out. Now Eric Belanger dumps it into the referee, and it comes loose to McIntyre. McIntyre and Gillies. McIntyre moving in with a shot, and the defenseman blocked it. That was, I believe, Whitney at the last second got a stick on it.
That was a good defensive play because Whitney had a one-on-the-goaltender chance there, and it just did not materialize.
20 seconds to go in the penalty time to Brodziak. Wild already have 4 shorthanded goals this season and a win.
So the power play and with maybe to negate and report that
into the teams. Meet 5 on 4 until Brodziak comes back. Koivu will go through to the far corner. 4 on 4 until Brodziak comes back. Horkoff has it down low, pushes it away to the right side, and here comes Brodziak out of the penalty box as the puck reaches neutral. He'll jump in on the play. Heatley drops it back on the right side. Here's Koivu. Brodziak goes to the front of the goal. Koivu back to the point. Spurgeon stops, rotates it across. Here's Bouchard. Heatley in the slot. It goes through. Koivu to Heatley. Tipped it just wide.
Boy, he was looking for more on that. He didn't get enough of a deflection to change the direction in his favor because Khabibulin had trouble picking that one up.
Here's Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Gains center. Across the line. Excuse me, it's Spurgeon, not Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Bouchard's at the left point. Spurgeon goes back to the right point. Heatley has the puck.
Heatley's getting booed, by the way, because he chose not to come here when offered a trade to here from Ottawa.
They don't forget easy.
No, they felt hurt by that. Now they're letting them know.
Bouchard with a shot. It didn't get through. Might have hit Heatley on the foot. Koivu. Spurgeon hopped his stick.
He was looking to pass it or shoot it before he received it. He picked his head up and it just kind of went under his stick.
Now Bouchard to Koivu with a nice skill move at the line. Here's Scandella. Tipped in front and Khabibulin got a piece of it. They tried that play twice. That time it was very close.
Very effective as it squeaked through the pads and just went out the other side. But that's the kind of steam you need to have on that shot for it to be effective. We've seen that shot before where Heatley doesn't get a lot of deflection on it because the shot's not hard enough. That time it certainly was.
Cullen to Setaguchi. In traffic. Leaves it with Lundin. He'll rotate it. Scandella drives one and that went off. And up and out of play. Puts
K and
sent it into the crowd.
That's other side.
Oh, here's inside. Gives it back on top to Schultz. Rotates it across. Setaguchi battling there. Belanger knocked it away, but Cullen picked it up. A short side jam. The Wild converge on the goal, but it's cleared all the way down.
I like that effort towards the net. It gives goaltenders fits.
And the penalty
net, the goal you are
against it around Jay. Scandella steps up. Nick Johnson took the hit. Puck slid through. In comes Cullen. Trying to stir things up. Setaguchi can't get it. Whitney leads it around. Held in by Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon being contested there for the puck very well, as a matter of fact, by Ryan Smith. And he'll go to the bench. Here come the Oilers back in. Gagne twisting and turning across the line. Center attempt by Hemsky knocked away. Gets it back. He fans on it. And Cullen picks up the loose puck. Tries to clear, but he hits Horkoff in the foot. Now across on the right side to Jared Spurgeon. Leads one ahead to center. Reaching out and just touching it was Cullen to get it deep in the zone and avoid an icing. Turnover. Here's Gillies moving in with a drive right on, and Khabibulin stops both. Well, on a great chance for the Wild. Still down by 1.
Well, the Wild need to establish their forecheck, and here's a good example of what it can do. Right there, you force him to put the puck up the middle, and that's Colton Gillies trying to respond like Mike Yeo wants to see him, and he gets a rolling puck and a good shot, but Khabibulin has been good to the tune of a 96 save percentage against the Wild this season, and you see why. He's way out there, cut down the angle, and made a good save on a rolling puck, which is not easy to do. You can't read a rolling shot like that as easily if the puck was laying flat. Colton Gillies got most of that one.
He's still looking for his first goal of the season.
Become another Mike Yeo buzzword, response. How are you going to respond? Not only individually, but as a team.
Cleared to center. Jones trying to get around Stoner. Stoner played him physically while he tried to find the puck, then was able to find the puck in his skates. Sander with a nice reverse against Belanger. Now to Stoner. Stoner will tap one ahead. A headman pass through the neutral zone to Powell. Brodziak tried to lead it back in for Darryl Powell. Payarvi sends it around behind. Here comes Powell with a hit. Now Powell on the wall, poked free just for a moment, and now Payarvi has it behind the play. Powell is laid out on the
towards the
jam. The Wild converge on the goal, but it's cleared all the way down.
I like that effort towards the net. It gives goaltenders fits.
And the penalty had just expired, so this will be icing.
When you power your way to the net, the goaltender has to concentrate on the puck while also trying to determine how much success you are going to have coming across that crease.
Cullen on the draw for Minnesota against Eric Belanger. Cullen on the draw for Minnesota against Eric Belanger. Cullen on the draw for Minnesota against Eric Belanger. Cullen trying to stretch out of the season. Was laid out of it.
Jones is the one who's, I think that was Jones that got in there. Interference.
The puck back was run over, but no.
Oh, I think that was Jones that got in there. Interference is going to be called, but is it going to be on the Wild or is it going to be on Edmonton? Department. Game the Wild were 1 for 2.
Ryan Smith dumps it back behind. Gilbert, Koivu will send it out to the point. Spurgeon is waiting there. Spurgeon right at the blue line. Tried to flip it ahead to Mikko Koivu, but a very good play defensively in front of him by Sean Horcoff. Now Spurgeon knocks it back behind. Wild will see if they can get something going. Trailing by a goal here. Bouchard across to Koivu. Koivu dances his way in. Clutterbuck with a shot and a blocker save made by Javi Bulin. Spurgeon right back on top. Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Heatley. Bouchard. Heatley with a shot. Save made and no rebound.
Right in there makes us got to get
shoulder or something. Play probably goes on. Can Bouchard keep away? No. Poked free. Horcoff has it stripped away. Nice defensive play by the man who was back on the play. And that was Jared Spurgeon. And the Wild with a 5-on-3 here for another minute. Heatley uses his large frame to shield the puck on that one. Sent down low in the corner, and they'll set it up from there. Out on top. Spurgeon crosses with Bouchard. Mikko Koivu tried to jam one in front, went off the skate in front of Gilbert, and it's cleared all the way down. Backstrom will shorten the ice and play it ahead to the blue line. Little drop pass to Pierre-Marc Bouchard. He'll stop out at the left point. Setaguchi moving across. Now he'll cross. Sends it across down low for Devin Setaguchi. He misplayed it off the back wall. Now Spurgeon to Setaguchi. Back to Spurgeon to Bouchard with a shot. It was partially blocked. Koivu to Setaguchi. Back on top. Broken stick by one of the Oilers, so they're down to 2 men and a stick. In front, a one-timer by Spurgeon goes wide. Comes bounding out front, and it'll be knocked down on the left wing side with room and space. Here's Bouchard moving in. Pierre-Marc tried to lay one out in front, and the Oilers get one man back. Here's Jones one-on-one, and it's poke checked away very nicely. Another very good defensive play by the Wild in this power play. You don't want to have to make a lot of great defensive play when you're on the power play, but they've done that. 20 seconds to go in the second penalty. That's on Schmid. Drop pass for Cullen, right through the logo at center ice. Brodziak back to the point. Scandella waits, fires, and someone got a piece of that one right in front, either Brodziak or Javi Bulin. Cullen sends it behind Brodziak. Penalty time has expired. Good penalty kill by the Oilers. And it'll get by the wing, and that's Scandella going back to get it, I believe. Yes, it is. And Marco will send it up through the neutral zone. Now back to Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck tried to cut in front. Might have taken a knee. No arms up. Clutterbuck is hurt. We'll have to look at that one again. Centered in front at the other end. Here comes Brodziak the other way. Clutterbuck hobbling, trying to get to the bench. Here comes Gillies in. Knocks the puck down, chasing after it with Powell. Gillies tried to wrap it around. That was knocked away. McIntyre can't intercept, and it's flipped high in the air, and Schultz is back to get it for the Wild across. Now to Greg Zanin. Bangs that one along the boards all the way down to Javi Bulin at the other end. Big hit along the wall. McIntyre gets up quickly. Play whistle down. Period comes to an end.
Well, Clutterbuck not in a good position right there, and it goes knee on knee, and he did stick the knee out, and that should be more than just a minor penalty, as he did catch Clutterbuck right on the knee, and hopefully he can skate that off and recover somewhat in that first intermission.
He chats with Kyle Brodziak heading off the ice. We'll be back. Face-off and more coming up in our first intermission from Edmonton. The Wild down by 1. Minnesota Wild hockey on Fox Sports North.
But they got it on knee, and I'm sure that's who wins that. That should have been
wins the draw.
Contact.
Wow, here we go. Koivu and Horkoff on the draw. And Koivu wins the draw again. Wild did very good on the face-offs in that first period. Controlled by the Edmonton Oilers, back in their own zone, looking for some room is Gagne. Finds some space, gets it off to Horkoff. Here's a rebound, and getting across was Backstrom just in time as Sam Gagne came flying in the backside. Bounced in by Koivu. Schmid gets there. Heatley will hit him. Heatley goes to the ice. Loose puck behind the Edmonton Oiler goal. Almost picked off by Koivu off his skate. Gagne settles back in. Flips one ahead across the line. It's offside at the Minnesota line. Cal coming into the game, putting him second in the National Hockey League. Also leads the National Hockey League in shorthanded goals. He's become a very valuable part of the penalty kill on this team. Peckham goes back. Pushed into the corner there by Setaguchi. Cullen trying to poke it free, but it ends up along the boards to Eberle, who leaves it out for Smith. Back for Eberle. Eberle leads it in. Ryan Smith down low, trying to work his way against Zanin. Now gets some help down low, and Zanin will come up with the loose puck. Zanin off the boards, leads one out to center ice on the right wing side. Carried in by Setaguchi. Dropped it back for Cullen, and now Setaguchi on the back wall. Peckham rubs him up on the back wall. Comes loose. Setaguchi tried to center, and it went off the skate of Andy Sutton and out the other side. Dumped back into the Minnesota zone. This is Scandella. Tried to put it along the boards. Bouncing puck knocked away there. Spurgeon working. That wrist shot goes over the top and wide. Payarvi sends it behind. Belanger has it. He tried to center. Off a skate. Here come the Wild back the other way. Making his way to center ice and sending it in is Nick Johnson. Johnson goes in shoulder to shoulder with Petrie. Petrie sends it along the boards. Jones is waiting. He banks it ahead. Payarvi with speed. Here's Magnus Payarvi on the backhand. Cuts inside. Fires a shot, and Belanger was jumping in front. Centering attempt by Jones. He gets it back. Oh, and sends it across. Now Petrie steps up, or keeps it in the zone, just barely.
Yeah, they're looking for that backdoor play again. This time it was Belanger standing back there.
Here's a chance on the right side. Brodziak with a drive, and then Nick Johnson driving in with Petrie. The two of them almost knocked it in. Hordichuk the other way. Hordichuk got a backhander off. Save made by Backstrom. Rebound cleared by Schultz. McIntyre. Now Staubitz leads it ahead for McIntyre. He goes in, shoulder first on Peckham. There's a couple of strong players. Now McIntyre behind. Had it poke checked away. Sutton comes in.
Nice hit.
Oh, and Colton Gillies just took big Andy Sutton right down on the back wall. And then Staubitz gets dumped behind the play.
Oh, McIntyre went shoulder to shoulder with Hordichuk. Hordichuk not liking it at all.
This game all of a sudden has gotten very physical. And it's been clean so far.
See how long that lasts. Because players don't, clean or not, players don't like to get hit.
A lot of shoulder-to-shoulder contact. Koivu will clear that one out of harm's way. Heatley looks up ice. Danny Heatley to center. Pokes it ahead deep in the zone. In the corner, Whitney sends it up along the wall to Sean Horkoff. Horkoff had it poked away by Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck couldn't quite reach it. Knocked down with a high stick by Horkoff, and that'll stop play here. And what a rush of play we had here for the last couple of minutes.
A lot of physical play, and I'll tell you, Colton Gillies, you talk about response. Boom! My goodness, Andy Sutton is not exactly a small man, and Colton Gillies just takes him right through. And yeah, Sutton was looking to see who did that. Took the number down. Colton Gillies second on the team, and a lot of people don't realize that in the hitting department. He is a very physical player, great on the forecheck, and Mike Gill wants to see him continue to play that game. And he's a healthy scratch last game, but he comes right back and had a great scoring chance in the first. Just unloads and blows up Sutton here in the second. Who knows what else Colton Gillies has in store for this game.
He is responding.
Yes. That is the definition of the word.
Cullen lost it, but dragged it back to his stick with his skate. Setaguchi to Bouchard. Bouchard worked over by Sutton, but Bouchard wins the battle. A backhander goes just wide. That is a great battle for a much smaller man in Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Giving away about 10 inches to him, and they're offside at the Minnesota line. That'll stop that Oiler rush. 15:42 to go here in the second.
Well, good job here by Bouchard. He just uses his leverage against a big man and his speed as well. Just didn't get it on net. He wrapped it a little bit too tight. But the Wild looked like they're responding a lot better here in the second period.
Petrie will send it rink wide at center. Both these teams were in action on Monday as Payarvi's shot doesn't get through. Payarvi reacted as though
well, it was
and Monday night. That was the last Wild game, that 3-1 win over Tampa Monday. And for the Oilers, they lost 2-1 here at home against Nashville on Monday night. Third power play of the game for the Oilers. Eberle sends it to the corner. Schultz got a piece of it, lost where it went. Eberle comes around, scoops it up, gets it back out to the point. Horkoff will leave it for Eberle. Now back to Horkoff. Across, Nugent Hopkins. He's got the only goal of the game so far. Centers it in front. A backdoor backhand. He scores! Eberle sends it to the corner. Schultz got a piece of it, lost where it went. Eberle comes around, scoops it up, gets it back out to the point. Horkoff lost where it went. Eberle comes around, scoops it up, gets it back out to the point. Horkoff will leave it for Eberle. Now back to Horkoff. Across, Nugent Hopkins. He's got the only goal of the game so far. Centers it in front. A backdoor back. Hopkins. He's got the only goal of the game so far. Centers it in front. A back. Nugent Hopkins. Horkoff will leave it for Eberle. Into the start of the second period. Hemsky, his shot went low. Slows it down across the Minnesota line. Checking in as Hemsky. His shot went low and just went wrong to that ball post. Peckham stolen away, but Peckham swats it right back, and the Oilers gain control. Edmonton to center. It's Gagne sending it into the Minnesota zone. Knocked down by Nicholas Backstrom. Colton Gillies waiting on the wall. He's bumped there from behind by Hordichuk. Stoner sends it around behind. Along the boards, here's Staubitz. Staubitz got it ahead. Gillies tossed it away at center ice. Picked up by Andy Sutton. Sutton looking to get around the forecheck of McIntyre. Sends it across all the way to through neutral ice. It's backhanded in by Hordichuk. Backstrom along the boards. Stoner turned it over. Quick shot right on in front. And a big save by Backstrom on a quick turnover right in front of the Minnesota goal. Javi Bulin played that one away from Colton Gillies. Petrie. Staubitz picks it off. Staubitz to Cullen. Drops it back for Schultz. He'll keep it in. Fires towards a goal. And that didn't miss much. Here's Lundin keeping it alive in the zone. On the back wall, Gillies is there. Gillies around, had it stripped away. Cullen is right there as well for Minnesota. Comes free and up the right wing side. It's pushed ahead by Petrie. Schultz will take over at the Minnesota blue line. Pass ahead, just missing the mark on Pierre-Marc Bouchard. The hitting continues. Hasn't let up. Here's Cullen. Cullen looking across. Setaguchi with a shot right on. And another nice save by Javi Bulin.
Did a good job of controlling that puck. Setaguchi had that in his skate, and he basically got his body around and got a very hard shot off.
Gilbert sends that one around through the corner, out to Eberle at center. Brodziak with a very nice back check to strip that puck away. Ahead to Nick Johnson, who's ripped into the boards by Schmid. Gilbert back, off the back wall behind the boards. Pitching in is Brodziak. He successfully knocked the puck free. Bouncing around behind. Now Gilbert will go in. Nick Johnson with the hit on Gilbert. Flipped ahead at center ice. Here come the Oilers back. Everly moving in. Everly with a shot. He's on goal. And it's stopped there by Backstrom. And he will hang on. Wild trying to get one on the board. Devin Setaguchi with the latest chance. Hang on.
Jordan Everly puts the Oilers up 2-0 with a power play goal as we reach the midway stages of this hockey game. And here's our Sanford Health injury report for tonight. And it comes out of Philadelphia, and it's defenseman Chris Pronger, former Edmonton Oiler, underwent left knee surgery yesterday. Expected to miss about a month. It's the fifth time he's had surgery, though. That's a concern. In the past 16 months, Dan and Mike, he's got a long-term contract with the Philadelphia Flyers, and this injury history isn't boding too well for the Flyers. They hope to make another run at an Eastern Conference title.
Yeah, he had that eye injury earlier this year, so he's had a few instances where he's been out, and they certainly will miss his presence on the blue. And the Wild are going to miss the presence of Cal Clutterbuck, who is now in the Wild locker room, so I'm not sure if he's going to be back in this game, but I think the concern is that knee-on-knee hit, that deliberate knee-on-knee hit by Whitney continues to cause Clutterbuck some trouble.
Hopefully he'll be back, but until then, they will have to make do without a guy that's been a big part of this team, not only on the physical aspect of the game, but on the power play, on the penalty kill. And was skating on that first line with Koivu and Heatley.
And replacement up there right now is Nick Johnson, who's found himself up on that spot before and done fairly well.
Stoner coming back to sweep that puck away. Sends it up along the boards up high. It's flipped ahead out through the neutral zone. Chasing it is Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Now ahead it's tipped by Payarvi back to the Minnesota line. And this will be icing as Clayton Stoner back to touch. Wild Vortex.
Puck out in the round trail, chipped by a couple here. Mike Yeo is doing some line juggling, moving some guys around.
Turnover, loose puck in front. Brodziak had it chipped away. McIntyre got a piece of it. Petrie got it ahead to Payarvi, and they'll clear the zone. But here came the Minnesota Wild on that aggressive forecheck. Bouncing puck. Scandella got it ahead. McIntyre plays it ahead off the board.
The open gate on Powell.
Here's a chance from a sharp angle that's knocked away.
Darryl Powell is the unfortunate benefactor of an open gate on the Oiler bench. On the bench. My goodness. Hopefully he's okay. He's shaken up right now on the bench.
Stoner. Who shoots? Scores!
The Minnesota Wild are introducing
Stoner.
a new 5-game ticket plan.
Turns the game at one. According to this hockey game.
A weeknight plan, or a combo plan. Buy two and you save nearly $150. Go to wild.com/high5 or you can call 651-222-WILD or text 5 to 83281 for a chance to win a couple of packs. Or you can call $150. Go to wild.com/high5 or you can call 651-222-WILD or text 5 to 83281 for a chance to win a couple of packs.
3 NHL Hospital Church 3.
As expected, it has been a very physical, chippy game between the Wild and the Oilers.
Well, with Clutterbuck out and the Wild trailing by a couple here, Mike Yeo is doing some line juggling, moving some guys around.
Turnover, loose puck in front. Brodziak had it chipped.
Okay, he's shaking.
Control the puck.
52 minutes, 18 seconds. 52 minutes.
Johnson
52 minutes,
lost
19
that
seconds.
one
52 minutes, 30 seconds.
behind the
52 minutes,
Edmonton
30
goal.
seconds.
The Oilers
0 minutes,
cleared out
5
to
seconds.
center. Lundin ahead. Bouchard with a very skilled play between his legs to control the puck. Jones couldn't reach it. Schultz controls. Right back to Nick Schultz. He'll lead it across on the right wing side. It just bounced off the blade of the stick of Matt Cullen. They tie up at the half wall in the Edmonton zone. Cleared ahead to Jordan Everly. And Everly will make his way to the Minnesota line. A little dump and chase for Jordan Everly. Lundin cuts it off. Schultz picks it up. Schultz will lead it ahead. A bouncing puck is banked ahead to Matt Cullen. Cullen got caught from behind. It was poke checked away. Dumped right back into the Minnesota zone. Backstrom. Lundin. Hemsky picked it off. Lundin got a piece of it. It ends up behind the Minnesota goal. A spin move by Ryan Smith didn't work. They'll work it back out to the point. Whitney sends it to the corner. Everly shot it wide. Gilbert steps up, sends it back behind the Minnesota goal. Centering attempt comes back to the point. Horkoff with a drive, and the save is made. The Oilers on to by Backstrom. A stop in the action. 2-0. The Oilers ahead.
Well, Clutterbuck is in the locker room, and Darryl Powell, watch this. The gate opens on the Oiler bench, and oh boy, just takes him right in the turnbuckle and gets helped into the bench. Darryl Powell is back and skating around. At least he was during that TV timeout. So that
53 minutes 47 seconds.
Darryl Powell is
53 minutes 49 seconds.
back.
2 hours 0 minutes 55 seconds.
And skating around. At least he was during that TV timeout.
53 minutes 40 seconds. 53 minutes 40 seconds. 53 minutes 48 seconds. 53 minutes 49 seconds. 2 hours 0 minutes 55 seconds.
And skating around. At least he was during that TV timeout. So that's a good sign, but that's always dangerous, boy.
54 minutes 0 seconds. 2 hours 0 minutes 55
Wild
seconds.
trying to get something past Nikolai Habibulin here as Gilbert fans on one. Heatley picks it up. Heatley will feather one to the right side. Picked up by Mikko Koivu. Koivu a little inside out move in front looking for Heatley. He scores! It might have gone up on one. Heatley did something past Nikolai Habibulin here as Gilbert fans on one. Heatley picks it up. Heatley will feather one to the right. Habibulin here. Wild trying to something past Nikolai Habibulin here.
He closed the gap.
55 minutes 18.
Now Payar. Jones got payback with a chops it around. Petrie broke his stick on the play, got the puck deep into the Edmonton zone. Whitney has it there. Whitney with the pressure coming, lost the puck. Centered in front. Gillies tried the one-timer. Knocked down by Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon shoots and a save by Habibulin. Wild maybe a little energized after finally getting one by Habibulin to make it 2-1.
0 minutes 55 seconds.
To the Minnesota line is Ryan Smith. Lost it. Loose at center. Puck just sat in front of the Oiler bench. Finally picked up by Peckham. He'll send it into the Minnesota zone. Here's Spurgeon back after it. Trying to get away from Eberle. Poked it ahead to Bouchard. Knocked off Bouchard's stick. Back down deep. Ryan Smith behind the goal. Eberle looking for a puck. Eberle in the corner. Now to the half wall. And whistle down.
He saw the net. He crossed. And so he Wild to take advantage of this interference to Andy Sutton. In front of the net, he cross-checks one of the Wild players. And so he goes off, and the Wild will see if they can get something going. Right there, watch this. Colton Gillies gets the brunt of the shot to the back.
Well, that might have been a little payback, but...
Well, but who really won that battle? I'd say Colton Gillies has the upper hand there because he draws the minor.
Colton really laid out Sutton earlier in this game, but the Wild on the power play for a fourth time in this game, trying to see, they had a little momentum going after the goal by Setaguchi. We'll see if they can continue that into the power play. Koivu and Heatley had helpers on the goal by Setaguchi. Held in. Spurgeon now to Bouchard. He'll hustle along the boards. Centers in the slot. Heatley with a shot. Rebound. Setaguchi could not get through all the bodies to get there. Setaguchi battling in the slot for it. Still stays in the zone. And finally, after several efforts, the Oilers able to clear their own zone.
Yeah, puck just pinballing around there as they whacked away at it.
Spurgeon will drop pass. He'll move it ahead to Mikko Koivu. Now to Heatley. Back to Mikko. Koivu along the boards. Back. Bouchard. Spurgeon. Heatley. Back out. Bouchard turns. He shoots. Pad save. Rebound in front. It comes out with a big rebound, and it's cleared just barely out across the line. That was Ryan Smith standing on it. Heatley turns and goes. Heatley across the line. Drop pass. Feathered across the line. Here's Pierre-Marc Bouchard moving in. Bouchard settles in at the half wall. Slot. Heatley turns. Shot. Save. Another nice rebound. This time Scandella comes up and knocks it away. Wild keep it alive in the zone. Habibulin's been giving them some nice rebounds. Here comes Cullen. Driving in. He hit the crossbar. Oh, what a skilled move by Matt Cullen. Cullen gives it to Bouchard. Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Back to the point. Marco Scandella. Dishes it off on the right side to Brodziak. His shot was blocked. It's loose in front. They battle away. They score! Tie shot point. Marco Scandella dishes it off on the right side to Brodziak. His shot point. Marco Cullen gives it to Bouchard. Oh, what a skilled move by Matt Cullen. Cullen gives it to Bouchard. Pierre-Marc Bouchard back to the point. Marco Scandella. Bouchard.
He's been game, as you said, down and
Heights lately.
Coward is really good. Brodziak
It's the Wild.
the next shift goes off for 2 minutes.
Fourth power play of this game for the Oilers. They're 1 for 3 so far. Only a couple of shots on the power play. So the Wild have done a decent job of killing, but this is a pretty good team. They've got a lot of guys that like to play on the power play. Ryan Smith is one of them. He lost the puck. The Wild may have numbers here shorthanded, but they will slow it down and dump it deep in the zone.
Keep in mind, the Oilers are without Taylor Hall in this game, and he is a huge part of their offense, but they have so much good young players, so many of them, that they keep coming at you.
He'll be out 2 to 4 weeks with that shoulder injury. They were worried at first that it could be much more severe, so they're happy it's just 2 to 4. Gilbert leaves it back behind. He has been very durable in his career. He's just good for 80 to 82 games, it seems like, every season. Lundin trying to tie things up in the corner, gets a little bit of help. Now it's rimmed around to the near side. Coming back to get it is Eberle. He'll keep it in along the boards. Nugent Hopkins has the puck. He was the first selection at XL Energy Center in this summer's draft, and he is not disappointed. Backdoor, a shot, save made. Backstrom came out, challenged, and made the save.
And Colton Gillies took a stick, I believe, up high and looking for a call, not finding one. Great job by Backstrom, not falling for that one again. That's how Eberle scored earlier in this period.
Hemsky lost the puck as he crossed into the Minnesota zone. Bobby Boulin back at the other end. Tom Rennie, coach of the Oilers this morning, said you win the specialty teams, you probably win the game. It's starting to look like that type of a game. He was exactly right. Whitney is rolling around. He settles it down, gets it to lay flat, dumped in front. Nice save in front by Stoner. That might have been dangerous if he doesn't get a piece of that one. Whitney to the corner. Sharp angle shot is partially fanned on. Nick Johnson is back on the ice, so the Wild have killed off another penalty. Centered in front, that's broken up. Back to the point. The Wild will poke it free. Stepping in front of it is Nick Johnson. Johnson moving in, cuts to the middle. Can he get a shot? If he does, but it goes wide in front. It looked like Ryan Whitney may have gotten a piece of that one.
Yeah, Nick Johnson looked like he wanted to single-handedly make up for that 2-minute minor on that line rush.
Well, he's coming out of the box, and then it's really coming out, and he was on the move. Here's a nice lead pass to Cullen. His shot didn't get through the defense. Heatley comes into the corner, poked free to Cullen. Cullen sets it up on the right side, a quick shot. That might have hit Heatley out front. Cullen got knocked down just inside the blue line, and it's cleared ahead to Payarby, who dumps it back into the Minnesota zone. Scandella ran into Jones, I believe, with a big shoulder. And Scandella goes to the ice. Loose puck picked up. It was swatted away from Danny Heatley, who then spins back and goes to the bench. Excuse me, that was not Jones. That was O'Mara, who hasn't seen a lot of ice time in this game, but he comes in. Big, strong center iceman. Sutton rotates it across. Out to center. Hemsky flips it around the defense from center ice into the Minnesota zone. Spurgeon takes the hit, clears the puck along the boards all the way back down. This will be icing against the Wild. 1:35 remaining here in the second period. Look at all your high school hockey action with Fox Sports North. Jefferson Fox. Go to foxsportsnorth.com, click on the Prep Zone link, and watch up to 4 high school hockey games all at one time tomorrow at 7. Featured games include Benilde St. Margaret's at Hill Murray, Burnsville at Minnetonka, Jefferson is at Eden Prairie, Champlain Park is at Centennial. Enjoy high school hockey here on Fox Sports North.
Ken Pauley will join Anthony in studio in her second intermission. He's the Benilde St. Margaret's head coach. And Hobby Boulin getting some straps repaired there.
Casino. I don't know if I mentioned
all of that. One or losses.
Bouchard waiting for things to develop. Leads one ahead. Gillies will chase. Gillies reaches back. He got his shot off, but Khabibulin able to make the save, and Colton Gillies continues to play spirited hockey. Good forecheck by the Wild. That was Heatley, and now Koivu. And it's turned over. Setaguchi tried to lay one out into the top of the circle to Mikko Koivu. Horkoff picked it off. There have been moments of brilliant forechecking in this game by the Minnesota Wild. Here's a shot saved, no rebound. Backstrom just gobbles that one up and makes it disappear. And a minute 1 to go here in the second period.
Nicholas Backstrom, a good job there. Just closing down the lane and just gobbling the puck up. No freebies. And Backstrom has had a strong game as well.
Wild coming off that season-long 6-game homestand. They went 4-2. Now bracing themselves for a lot of road time. Oilers win the draw with a minute to go in the period. All the way around behind. Ryan Smith couldn't get there because he was practically behind Nicholas Backstrom in the Minnesota goal. Out through center. Everly rotates it back on defense. Up the middle, loose puck. Heatley got a piece of it, but it's picked off and dumped back into the Minnesota zone. Backstrom poked it away at the last second from Everly. Here's Nugent Hopkins looking towards the goal. Fires in front. Backdoor shot missed by Everly.
An open net it appeared as well.
Puck picked off up in the slot. Led ahead. It bounces and skitters its way past Danny Heatley. Whitney is back to get it. Heatley missed on a check behind the play on him. Picked off out at center. Waiting now is Brodziak. Turns. Fires. Huge rebound off of Khabibulin. But nobody there in a white sweater. Nugent Hopkins leads it in on the left side. Now to Everly. It got by Ryan Smith. Smith is hammered by Brodziak and knocked off the puck. And that's where the puck will be to end our second period of play. A nice rally once again by the Minnesota Wild.
Wild did a great job in this period. They came out a lot harder. They were very physical, as were the Oilers, and they answered back and won that period.
Moment in a high school. All coming up next. Up to date with Weather's team had November, which will
back at some point, and it's in March and April when you want to be playing in front of your home fans with a race to the playoffs.
This team has a winning record away from XL Energy Center, 5-3-2 coming into this one, and would like to add a 6th road win here tonight if they can, and add 11th win in the month of November, which would be a franchise best. But they're in a battle here with this very scrappy young Oiler team. 2-2 after 2. That's Heatley along the board. Scrappy young Oiler team. 2-2 after 2.
After 2.
That's Heatley along the boards right in front of the Edmonton Oiler bench. And finally Setaguchi just flings it across the rink. Cullen gets there before Gilbert, showing some good speed from Matt Cullen. Now along to Smead. Smead will lead it ahead. Almost picked off by Nick Johnson on that forecheck. Ryan Smith ahead along the boards to Hemsky. Stoner takes up the chase. Clears it off the boards and all the way down. And this will be icing. We'll go back in the other end.
In the hand to pigeonhole him into any kind of think. It's a little too early. He's still developing, still learning the game in the National Hockey League. He's without question going to be a very talented one. He has 2 points in this game and has 11 goals on the season.
Last time these two teams played, he had 2 goals. He had a power play goal and an empty net goal, so he's already found a liking for playing against the Minnesota Wild. Wild will get flagged for another icing here.
Here's the rankings in the rookie department and goals, assist points. Yeah. Topping the charts on all of them.
Not a bad way to get things started on your pro hockey career. 27 points now. Your pro. Not a bad way to get things started on your pro hockey career. 27 points now. Zanin goes into the corner. Belanger chasing. Stoner is there. Stoner will send it down.
There's a third icing in a row by the Wild. Just trying to exit the zone to try and think.
We're early to go down. All 5 one will be not far enough for icing, so the Wild will get a chance to change all 4-0 now. And McIntyre get kind of 10 points. Hey, when tied after 2 periods, the Wild are 4-0 this season. They've been excellent. Here's Payarvi. Fires one. Big rebound, but it's cleared but not out. Back to the right point. Petrie's shot off the skate. Goes perfectly to Whitney, and Whitney inadvertently tosses it out across the line. Here's Brodziak. He and McIntyre get kind of tangled up, but Brodziak got it deep in the zone. Finishing my thought on the other side of things, the Oilers have struggled when tied after 2. They are 0-2-1 this season, when even going into the 3rd period. This is Sean Horcoff. Had a goal against Minnesota and an assist a couple games ago. Sharp angle shot hit the side of the net. Backhander gets through traffic, picked up by Captain Mikko Koivu, and he'll backhand it into the Edmonton zone. Gilbert is back first. Koivu will come in with Schmid battling. Koivu goes down in the corner. Schmid continues to battle for the puck. Now it's tapped along the boards. Gagne can't get it. Lundin turns on his backhand. Tried to get it deep in the corner, but it's picked off. Here come the Oilers back. Off the boards, it's dumped in deep by Gagne. Lundin flips one ahead into the skates there of Setaguchi. Saw the hit coming from Schmid. Schmid carries in, hands it off along the boards to Gagne. Horcoff is waiting, but Gagne keeps it.
Oilers aren't afraid to pinch their D. We've seen it all game long.
Hemsky to the point. Horcoff, save, rebound, Gilbert. Gilbert has been in the offensive zone, down low in the offensive zone most of this shift. Now Schmid back at the left point. Horcoff was playing defense. Shot by Horcoff is deflected. He didn't get much on it after the deflection. It goes to the corner. Gagne has it. Gagne gives it up. Now it's Schmid.
Well, they're a little tired here, doing a lot of standing.
Gilbert tried to put one through for a deflection in front. It didn't make it, and the puck comes out. And the Wild to get a chance to at least change some here. A much-needed change on the fly as Edmonton comes out here in the 3rd period at home and tries to take over this game. Scandella to center to Cullen. Nice pass off the boards to himself. Cullen slams on the brakes, drops it back, pushed down low. Spinning is Johnson. Hit the back of the goal. Cullen turns and gets a shot off. That was steered away by Javi Bulin. Nick Johnson doing yeoman-like work, trying to get that puck and dumps it back behind. Bouchard had it knocked off his stick by Sutton. Those two have battled a couple of times, and Bouchard has held his own. Here's Nick Johnson trying to drive in front. It's loose in front. They battle away, and it slides free. And a penalty coming up behind the play.
Great.
Team finished 3.
A very good job.
Power to keep that ball here tonight. Good job to keep that bouncing puck in, but as it's tossed across the blue line, Spurgeon could not keep it in. Jones had position. They go to the back wall. Bouchard has it kicked free to him. Pierre Mark moving up along the wall, dumps it to the center of the ice. It's adjusted there for Mikko Koivu. That was Setaguchi who just kind of laid it down. Now driven in by Jared Spurgeon from center ice. Setaguchi behind for Koivu. Tried to get it back to Setaguchi, but they closed in on him too fast. Great job to keep it in by Bouchard. Spurgeon with a drive, and the save by Javi Bulin in the air. Rebound.
That was a great keep by Bouchard. That puck was about 2 feet in the air, and he knocked it down and kept it in for the Wild shot on goal and a face-off in the offensive zone. Otherwise, they're chasing it all the way down. Look at this. Just a nice reach there. Great hand-eye by Pierre Mark, who you would expect to have very good hand-eye.
Bouchard had the game winner on Monday night against the Tampa Bay Lightning on a beautiful one-timer. Set up by Nick Johnson.
Hand-eye.
Bouchard had the game winner on Monday night against the Tampa Bay Lightning on a beautiful one-timer. Set up by Nick Johnson. Spurgeon again, and this one, he shows a little puck.
Wound up there. Puck, then you see him, and you had a goal in your angle. And Setaguchi did a good job. Had a goal in that second period and tried to create another there.
This is Jared Spurgeon. Edmonton native would love to score against his hometown team. It's pushed deep into the corner. Under a minute to go now in the power play time, and this one will get along the boards. It got behind Heatley and past Spurgeon all the way down to Nick Backstrom at the other end. Wild will make some partial changes here. Here comes Spurgeon. To center. Drop pass. Bouchard. Here's Cullen with a quick wrister and a blocker save made by Javi Bulin. Cullen gets tripped up going for that loose puck. Picked up by Nick Johnson. Johnson back to the point. He'll get through. Quickly across. Here's Bouchard. Chopping at it. It's pushed out to the glove with a glove out to the neutral ice. And the Wild will try to gain control on that rolling puck with 20 seconds to go in the power play. Brodziak walks in, fires the save, and the rebound was knocked away before the Wild could get to it, and it's cleared back down the ice again. Out comes Backstrom to play it. And the penalty time has expired on Theo Peckham, and the Oilers are back to even strength. 7 minutes into this third period. Tied at 2 here in Edmonton. A one-game road trip for the Minutes into this third period. Tied at 2 here in Edmonton. A one-game road trip for the Minnesota Wild. Trying to move back up on, stay on top, I should say, in the Western Conference. Stavitz leads it into the Oilers zone. And the Oilers will send one across the line. Here's Horcoff moving in, and a great poke check by Backstrom.
He recognized that Horcoff was coming in so fast that he would not be able to make an adjustment if he did that. And it's a bit of a gamble, but boy, he won that one. Great read.
Big save for Backstrom to keep this game tied at 2. And what a pass to Horcoff. He just barely stayed onside and took that puck full speed into the Minnesota zone. Zanin to Schultz. To Sedegucci. It's tangled up in his feet there right in front of the Minnesota bench, and Payarvi was right there as well. Carried in across the Minnesota line by Sutton. Had it in his skates for a minute. Koivu was relentless and finally came away with the puck. Schultz ahead. Swung at by Sedegucci. Deep in. Javi Bulin will play it away. Heatley's on the forecheck. Jones has to sidestep a hit by Heatley. Dumps it back behind his own goal. This is Gilbert up on the left wing wall. It's flipped up high in the air by Sutton. Bounces one into the Minnesota end. Clayton Stoner has it there. Nugent Hopkins is chasing. Stoner off the boards. A touch there in the neutral zone, and ends up back into the Edmonton zone. Gilbert has it. Stops, changes direction behind. Now it's bounced off the boards to Ryan Smith. He'll lead the puck ahead. He got it out of the zone. Now it's tied up in a little scrum in front of the bench area for Edmonton. And Ryan Smith will carry. Lost the puck at the blue line. Poked ahead by Bouchard to Johnson. And Johnson's shot was blocked. Whitney got it. His return pass was knocked away by Johnson. Dumps it in the corner to Bouchard. Out on top to Scandella. Spurgeon with a shot. It's wide. A lot of traffic in front of Javi Bulin on that one. Great back check by Nick Johnson to send it down low in the corner. Trying to come out of the corner, but rocked off the puck with Bouchard. Loose puck control. Nugent Hopkins makes his way to center. Leads one ahead to the speedy Magnus Payarvi. Payarvi and Scandella on the back wall. Nicely played by Marco. Back to the point. A little bouncing puck. Peckham with a shot. It opened up and Backstrom saw the shot. Made the save and hung on. Nicholas Backstrom with a big save here in the third when we come back. Let's take a look at our CenturyLink high-speed play of the game.
Well, this just is a terrific save by Backstrom, but look at that play as Horcoff catches it full speed, and I think it was because it was such high speed that Backstrom was able to execute a wonderful poke check. Backstrom has responded very well. Tough outing a couple games back. Responds well with a great game against Tampa, and now has played very well here against Edmonton.
Puck hit some bodies in front, and by the way that Lundin is getting up, I'm guessing it hit him. He hobbles his way to the Minnesota bench. Wild have been banged up a little bit. Cal Clutterbuck is no longer in the game. He took what looked to be a dirty hit from Whitney in the first period. Tried to come back in the second and could not. That's Gillies. Great battle for Colton Gillies along the wall. Jones rips one in off the glass. behind the goal line in the Minnesota zone. Stoner sounded like it hit a shin pad. Rodziak couldn't reach back and get it. Payarvi driving in. Payarvi left it at the side of the goal, and Backstrom will just smother it there.
Backstrom recognized the Wild didn't get the puck out of the zone, and so the pressure came right back at him. There's Lundin trying to shake off the shot that looks like it caught him on the top of the knee, and there's no padding there. Here's the shot that came in, and yeah, he was too busy worrying about Payarvi, and he's just trying to walk that one off a little bit. You're right, the Wild banged up a bit in this game. Clutterbuck, of course, Darryl Powell got run into the open Edmonton Oilers bench right in the gate, and a couple of players have blocked shots, but they're still at it.
Tap back to Greg Zanin. Zanin tried to clear. Gagne knocked it down. A shot right on. A save by Backstrom. Good stop on a quick chance for Horcoff. Smead leaves one in the middle of the point area. Now Hemsky working on it. Zanin was marking him. He stopped at the blue line. Tried to push it back down low. Koivu battling for it. It pops up in the air. He and Hemsky go after it. And then Hemsky sends it rink wide off the wall. And Stoner will send the puck loose through the neutral zone. Look at your shots on goal. Has evened up and remains very close. Zanin steals that one and clears. They waved off the icing immediately.
Both Zanin and Stoner tried to get off the ice. They saw the play come back the other way, and both scampered to the blue line again and finally got to make their change.
Andy Sutton has it. Intercepted by Cullen. Tried to send it back in deep. Knocked away by Sutton. And cleared ahead to Ryan Smith, working on Scandella. Gets some help from Spurgeon. Loose puck to Cullen. And now Nick Johnson to center. Very nicely controlled out of the neutral zone by Pierre-Marc Bouchard. In comes Cullen on the forecheck. Now Everly leaves it up along the wall. Picked up by Nick Johnson. Fires. In front is Cullen. He had to get out of the way because a big freight train was coming at him. That was Andy Sutton. Intercepted by Pierre-Marc Bouchard to Nick Johnson. Fires, and that goes off the stick of Theo Peckham of the Oilers and into the crowd and into the netting. That is out of play.
Well, Colton Gillies is in his response game, and he responded in many ways. Physical in this game like he can be. A couple of good scoring chances. That one in the second on a blast, and watch him get in here on the forecheck and get an opportunity again on Javi Bulin that stops him. Even some blocked shots in this game. Out there at the point, making a difference. So Colton Gillies doing what Mike Yeo wanted him to do, and that is showing the confidence that Mike Yeo showed in him.
McIntyre tried to sweep that one around front on a quick turnover as Colton Gillies was involved in another very good forecheck. Mike Lundin, after blocking that shot and being in some discomfort, is good to see that he's back on the ice again. He'll take the pass from Schultz. He'll lead it ahead to center ice through the neutral zone. Gillies off the boards. It's gloved and knocked down and controlled by the Oilers. Now across to Whitney. 7.5 remaining. We're at that point in the game where you wonder who's going to step up and make the big play. Who will be the hero?
Oh boy. Rodeo's in town. Stoner got ridden by Payarvi there behind the net.
Both players up. No worse for the wear. Stoner's a big, strong kid. Payarvi just tried to leap over him and just didn't quite have enough vertical jump, I guess.
That's a tough leapfrog right there.
Sharp angle shot, the rebound, a pile up in front, and that stayed out.
Well, it's underneath Backstrom, thank goodness, because if it was underneath Heatley, there could have been a penalty shot. But a good job by the Wild getting around that net and not allowing that rebound. Watch the shot, but more importantly, the rebound comes right out and dangerously bounces around. And not really much choice there by Backstrom. He had to make the save, and the rebound, well, he had no choice about where it was going to go with the type of shot that it was. That's why when you're on the wing like that, you shoot for the middle of the net. You quite often will create that sort of a rebound.
Spurgeon. Nice Scandella, watched by Horcoff. Nice play by Koivu. Redirected that puck from his own blue line right to the tape of Danny Heatley's stick, who gets it deep into the Oilers zone. Hemsky up the right wing side. He's caught from behind, gets it back, flips it up into the air along the right wing boards, and now Hemsky has it again. Heatley watching him now. Hemsky will move along the blue line, turns, looks, fires, stick saved by Backstrom. Well, Hemsky, another guy that's had a pretty good game. Early this season, back in October at Minnesota, he got injured, a shoulder injury that kept him out of the lineup for a while, and it's been very good for this team to get someone back with a little experience. Gloved and hung on to by Nick Backstrom. We'll step away for a moment, still tied.
2-2 hockey game down the stretch run here at Rexall Place. We're going to break it all down and a lot more on Wild Live, presented by CenturyLink, featuring the Toyota postgame wrap. We'll talk about the Wild rally. They went down 2-0, but goals by Setaguchi and that man Kyle Brodziak have us tied at 2. Players responding. Mike Yeo talked about that before the game. We'll talk more about that after the game, and we'll get Mike Yeo's postgame press conference. What do you think of his team's performance when they were down 2-0 to come back? You'll find out, and a lot more. Dan and Mike on Wild Live, presented by CenturyLink.
Earlier this season, we were in this building, and the Wild needed the goal with 2 seconds remaining to tie the game, and that was Danny Heatley. That was back on October 20th.
That after the game, and we'll get Mike Yeo's postgame press conference. What do you think of his team's performance when they were down 2-0 to come back? You'll find out, and a lot more. Dan and Mike on Wild Live, presented by CenturyLink.
This season, we were in this building, and the Wild needed the goal with 2 seconds remaining to tie the game, and that was Danny Heatley. That was back on October 20th. This season, we were in this building, and the Wild needed the goal with 2 seconds remaining to tie the game.
After the game, and we'll get Mike Yeo's postgame press conference. What do you think of his team's performance when they were down 2-0 to come back? You'll find out, and a lot more. Dan and Mike on Wild Live, presented by CenturyLink.
Earlier this season, we were in this building, and the Wild needed the goal with 2 seconds remaining to tie the game, and that was Danny Heatley. That was back on October 20th. Both these teams looking for someone to come up with the big play to be the different one, and we're under 6 minutes remaining. Nick Johnson, nice move, quick shot, saved by Javi Bulin. Cullen was right there, and Javi Bulin continues to be very tough.
Stopped a lot of point-blank shots in this game by the Wild, and the Wild forecheck is doing what it needs to do right here. Good job by Bouchard. Look at that one-hand feed, and then corrals Nick Johnson in the slot.
Well, it appears that with Cal Clutterbuck out, Nick Johnson is picking up a lot of extra ice time.
Yeah, he's jumping in different places. They've moved him around a lot, and he's responding in various ways. And he's been very versatile for the Wild.
Icing is waved off. Backstrom will play it away to the corner. Brodziak. Send it through center, where he found McIntyre, who got it deep into the Edmonton zone. Now the Oilers look up ice. Tipped ahead there by Payarvi. Spurgeon didn't see it, was lying behind him on the ice. Belanger from a sharp angle. Steered aside. Now Jones will send it out to the point. A quick shot from the right point. Missed the mark. Gathering up the puck comes Colton Gillies. He's had a strong game. Gillies across the middle and tried a shot and almost collided. Maybe did collide there with Kyle Brodziak.
With Ryan Smith.
As they were crisscrossing just inside the Edmonton blue line. Bouchard lost control as he made a spin move. Gets some help as Brodziak comes back to strip it away. Now it's picked up by Zanin, banks it off the boards and clears it ahead deep in the zone. Javi Bulin settling it down. Gagne at the wall. Lost it. Didn't get rid of it quick enough. Cullen picks it off. Now battling with Horkoff. It gets dropped back to Sam Gagne. Rotates it right. They cross into the Minnesota zone. A little drop pass on the right side, and a shot from the right circle is gloved and hung onto by Nicholas Backstrom. Gagne rotates it right. They cross into the Minnesota zone, and the right circle is gloved and hung onto by Nicholas Backstrom.
Along with Devin Dubnik swallowed that one up with no rebound.
You mentioned earlier Dan
volume,
Murphy
graphic.
being the co-author of that book, Journeyman with Sean Conger. Normally he just authors tweets, and you can find them at Sportsnet Murphy.
Well, I've been criticized because I don't tweet as much as Murphy. How do you do that? He's always on me.
Burrows off the face-off. Sportsnet Murphy.
Well, I've been criticized because I don't tweet as much as Murphy. How do you do that? He's always on me.
Burrows off the face-off.
3.
Lundin
45 volume graphic.
lost to numbers there. Eberle to Ryan Smith. He sends it into the corner. Knocked back down low. Koivu will take it away. Takes a little chop at Ryan Smith. Setaguchi battling inside the blue line. Battle one. Nugent Hopkins to Ryan Smith. Smith around a wraparound. It comes out front, and Setaguchi is the only man there. And Setaguchi will do a little chip and chase of his own. Cleared off the boards, out through center. Ryan Smith to the Minnesota line. Runs into Marco Scandella. Rotates it around behind and up the right wing wall. Setaguchi just flips one out to center ice. It's gloved and controlled there by the Oilers. They will backhand one deep in the zone, then switch on the fly. 3:21 left to go here in the third period. Brodziak, little rolling puck. Couldn't get it to settle down long enough to take control. Petrie with a little touch pass and they'll work it out to center ice. Led in for the speedy Payarvi. He couldn't get the puck. Now Brodziak the other way. Gets taken out by a nice hip check. Whitney has it. He's hit on the play by McIntyre. A loose puck and out come the Oilers again. Left side with speed. Payarvi with a wrister on goal. And Backstrom makes the save. And you saw once again the speed of Magnus Payarvi.
Backstrom not giving up any secondary opportunities here, and that's what you need.
Gmail 3 NHL Hospital short take.
Now, Payarvi's been very visible in this game, as you mentioned. Look at the shots on goal here.
Cullen wins the draw. Bouchard sends it ahead. Nick Johnson will chase. Looks like it's going to be Peckham and Johnson going to the back wall. Peckham got there just a little bit sooner. Now ahead to Ryan Smith. Slows it down, but it's broken up there. Stolen away by Nick Johnson. Now to Bouchard. Bouchard with a soft shot. Looking for a rebound, and he got it, but the white sweaters weren't able to gain control. Ryan Smith lost it in the corner. Stoner gets spun off the puck by Ryan Smith. 15 to go here in the third. And the Wild have had a knack for finding ways to get goals late. They have a lot of confidence at this point in the hockey game. Here's Bouchard across. Off the stick of Cullen, and Cullen will just whack it down deep. Now picked up and controlled by Tom Gilbert. Wild finishing some changes on the fly, so Gilbert slowly to his own blue line. Edman's a pass out to center. Here's Horkoff with a shot. That was a high shot, and it was off the body and goes to the corner. Now Gagne drops it off down low into the slot. Horkoff trying to one-timer. Lundin came up with it off a block, and it's cleared all the way down. Icing is waved off, so Javi Bulin will play. A minute and a half remaining here in the third period. Stolen away by Setaguchi. Setaguchi around behind, wanted to turn the corner, but it was not allowed. And here come the Oilers back the other way. We've been going up and down the ice for a good part of this third period. Hemsky. Schultz got his stick stuck underneath the wall. Centered into the slot to Horkoff. Horkoff could not control it. Koivu does. Mikko makes a nice move at center, skating through some stick work, and lost the puck, and now Whitney has it. 1 minute remaining in the third period. Off of Jones into the Minnesota end. Scandella leaves it for Spurgeon. Jared Spurgeon ahead. Redirected into the Edmonton zone by McIntyre. Scoring in his second game for the Wild.
seconds left in the third period.
By McIntyre. Here bringing his
Slider. 1 hours 39 minutes 0 seconds.
zone. And Cullen going to the back. And you saw once.
Look at the shot opportunities here, and that's what you need. Bay Harvey's been very visible in this game, as you mentioned. Look at the shots on goal here.
Cullen wins the draw. Bouchard sends. By McIntyre, playing in his second game for the Wild.
How about that for confidence?
Wow. Harvey from the wall, blocker save by Backstrom. Scandella and Belanger go after it. It's cleared ahead to Colton Gillies. Knocked back into the Minnesota zone. Oilers will change and the Wild will take advantage and dump it all the way down into the Edmonton zone. 20 seconds to go. McIntyre tried to center. That was rejected. Back to the half wall. And now it's out to center. And here come the Oilers.
3-1 Oilers. In 20.
With 10 seconds to go.
1 hour 38 minutes. 1 hour 38 minutes. 1 hour 38 minutes. 1 hour 38 minutes. 37 seconds. 1 hour.
Around behind, wanted to turn the corner, but it was not all.
1 hour 38 minutes. 1 hour 38
into the slot to
1 hour 38
Horkoff.
minutes. 1 hour 38 minutes.
Horkoff
5 seconds. 1 hour 0 minutes. 5 seconds.
Miko.
1 hour 38 minutes.
Hemsky. Schultz got his stick stuck underneath the wall. Centered into the slot to Horkoff. Horkoff could not control it. Koivu does. Miko takes a nice move at center, skating through some stick work, and lost the puck, and now Whitney has it. 1 minute remaining in the third period. Off of Jones into the Minnesota end. Scandella leads it for Spurgeon. Here's Spurgeon ahead. Redirected into the Edmonton zone by McIntyre.
11 seconds after that Gagne goal with 8 seconds left in the third. Ryan Smith, second goal of the game. 2 goals in 35 seconds. 3 goals in 35 seconds.
1 minute remaining in the third period. Off of Jones into the Minnesota end. Scandella leaves it for Spurgeon.
1 hour 38. 1 hour 38.
1 minute remaining in the third period. Off of Jones into the Minnesota end. Scandella leaves it for Spurgeon. Here it's Spurgeon ahead. Redirected into the Edmonton zone by McIntyre. Playing in his second game for the Wild. Harvey from the wall. Blocker saved by Backstrom. That was rejected back to the half wall, and now it's out to center, and here come the Oilers. With 10 seconds to go, this shot in.
1 hour 43. 1 hour. And better. YouTube video. 1 hour 43 minutes. 1 hour 1 hour 46 seconds. 2 hours 0 minutes.
What a nice move there by Brodziak. He's our 10-star star in the game. He had a goal in the game, a good rebound that he scored in during the game, and then he gets the winning goal in the shootout for the Wild. Big 2 points here. The Wild finished November with 11 wins.
11 wins, Anthony, and once again, I know it's a stuck record, but this team once again finds a way to get a win, and they go home in first in the West.
0 minutes 0 seconds of 1 hour 0 minutes 1 seconds of 1 0 minutes 2 seconds of 1 hour 0 minutes 3 seconds of 1 hour